You could feel the excitement at the opening reception for France Atlanta 2011 held at Amelia Hotel in Midtown Atlanta. For the second edition of France Atlanta, Atlanta's leading scientific, commercial, cultural, and humanitarian organization would host more than a dozen events focused on innovation. More than a great show, France Atlanta is designed to breathe new life into the French-American cooperation in the U.S. Southeast, and that's exactly what it accomplished. France's Consul General in Atlanta, Pascal Ledanf, led off the ceremony as he did last year at the inaugural France Atlanta program.
Merci beaucoup à vous d'être venus ce soir pour apporter votre soutien à France Atlanta.
France's ambassador to the United States, His Excellency Monsieur François Delattre, gave his unequivocal support for the event that evening and would appear at several of the events later on in the week. Georgia Tech President Bud Peterson praised his institution's relationship with France, which includes the Georgia Tech Lorraine campus in Metz, France.
Like the city of Atlanta, Georgia Tech maintains a global focus, expanding our global footprint and influence to ensure that we're graduating good and well-educated global citizens.
And Mayor Kassim Reed welcomed all of the representatives of French companies and institutions who have traveled to Atlanta to participate in these events. These included wide-ranging lectures from the highly technical, such as the prospects for graphene, to an acclaimed dance performance by French choreographer Pierre Rigal called Asphalt. Talking about graphene, in view of the critical role that silicon plays in the manufacture of modern electronics, it's hard to believe that it may be replaced. But Silicon Valley, get ready to move over for graphene, a new nanomaterial that offers promising advances for the electronic sector. France Atlanta 2011 brought together the leading lights developing application for this new material to the Georgia Tech's Manufacturing Research Center. The dignitaries included Albert Fert, the 2007 Nobel Prize winner in physics from Paris. And France Atlanta didn't have to look any further than Georgia Tech to find Walt, a Regents professor in the School of Physics, and Claire Berger, a French research scientist closely affiliated with Georgia Tech, to make the symposium a success. On its part, the Georgia Tech Lorraine campus was the central theme discussed during a one-day symposium on U.S.-French cooperation in R&D and higher education. 3,000 students from Atlanta have studied on the Georgia Tech Lorraine campus, while 100 or so have come from France to Atlanta for graduate programs. In addition to these two scientific symposia at Georgia Tech, Emory University was a natural location for French doctors specializing in renal and geriatric kidney disease. Regarding kidney transplantation, the French doctors came from the Necker University Hospital in Paris, as well as university hospitals in Nantes and Toulouse, to compare best practices in the diagnostic and care of patients experiencing kidney failure. After sharing valuable information during France Atlanta, they decided to organize a follow-up symposium in Nantes in 2012. Dr. Renous Nanouj thought the discussions were important because doctors on both sides of the Atlantic, despite the advances, are seeking better ways to prevent the rejection of transplanted organs.
I think it's a good way to initialize cooperations because we have seen that we have common subject of interest. Today, transplant physicians are looking for the same results. We have improved our results in terms of short-term graft survival, but the problem of the long-term survival remains a major problem. We have two goals. We have to understand why the people are losing their kidneys. So we have to develop the field of biomarkers, the field of chronic rejection, and we have to improve the tolerability, the tolerance, the safety of the immunosuppressive drugs.
Innovation, cooperation, and striving for excellence were the common themes emphasized by Mayor Reed, Georgia Tech President Peterson, and French Consul General Ledanf during a press conference at City Hall announcing the France Atlanta 2011 program. If you don't strive for excellence, you're falling behind, the mayor said in reference to France Atlanta 2011. and he pointed to the Memorandum of Understanding between the Paris Airport and Region and the City of Atlanta, signed as a direct result of France-Atlanta 2010.
I think in short order it is the benefit that comes from having two of the world's leading airports pursue excellence, the commercial benefits by having Georgia and Atlanta-based businesses have an open line to Paris and the business opportunities around their airports, and then the same occurring on our end, and then the continued strengthening of the ties between Paris, which I think is clearly one of the leading cities of the world, and Atlanta, which I believe is striving to be a leading city.
Consul General Le Danf added that both the French and Atlanta companies could work together to attract companies from elsewhere in the world, benefiting from each other's networks.
I fully agree with what Mayor Kassim just said, with maybe the emphasis on the fact that this memorandum of understanding includes actions, concrete actions, to attract international companies in both areas of the two airports. International companies from third countries that are looking for a link between Europe and the United States.
French Ambassador François Delattre and Atlanta Mayor Kassim Reed were also the guest speakers at the business workshop on the Green City of the Future, held at the Metro Atlanta Chamber. Mayor Reed touted the progress made under Atlanta's The Power to Change plan, which has set ambitious goals to reduce the city's carbon footprint, improve water management, develop housing, transportation, and expand green space.
And if you are the leader of a major American city, or a major European city, or any city anywhere in the world, and you really have a heart for service, you will move into the sustainability space in a robust way.
Ambassador Delattre spoke of France's environmental initiatives and Le Grand Paris plan that seeks to be a model for supermetropolises of the 21st century and to break down the divisions between its downtown and its suburbs. Both agreed that there was plenty of work to be done and opportunities for US and French companies to collaborate.
It is actually quite interesting to see that thanks in particular to the leadership of your mayor, Atlanta is engaged in the same type of urban development or redevelopment initiatives through the Beltline project and the streetcar, two major projects. And actually, it's striking to see how similar our responses to current challenges are. And it's another additional incentive, if I may say so, to better cooperate.
The second business workshop on France's nuclear power industry was roundly applauded at Georgia Tech. When America went to sleep and stopped building power plants, you continued and you have led the world, Georgia Public Service Commissioner Tim Heckles told the representatives of French and American companies. He said that the US had much to learn from France about best practices in the industry, especially concerning the disposal of nuclear waste.
So I salute you, French, for your work in building nuclear power plants. When America went to sleep and stopped building plants, you continued developing nuclear power, and you have led the world. And we salute you and honor you for that today.
Before returning home, the French officials invited their counterparts from the Savannah River Nuclear Centers and the Carlsbad Nuclear Waste Management Company to visit French facilities. In turn, French nuclear experts are to visit the Plant Vogel nuclear facility in East Georgia this year. In addition to the scientific and business segments of France Atlanta 2011, the cultural program was also very thorough and diverse. The cultural programs feature architecture, dance, films, and photography. The photographs of Mohamed Bourouissa, a native of Algeria, resonated with students at the Savannah College of Art and Design because of their social meaning and pertinence to the modern world. For the first time, France Atlanta marked a great partnership with the Bronze Lens that featured diversity in the film industry. Diversity was also the central theme of Zineb Zedera's lecture at Spelman College, organized within the framework of the Art Paper Live Lecture Series. Toulouse Mayor Pierre Cohen came to Atlanta with a large delegation, notably to participate in a colloquium on inner city and outer suburbs at the Georgia Tech College of Architecture.
Nous sommes heureux et je vous remercie, nous vous remercions pour votre invitation à ouvrir ce colloque consacré aux environnements urbains des grandes métropoles et plus spécifiquement des banlieues. J'y vois la reconnaissance de l'intérêt que nous portons à Toulouse pour la question de la mixité sociale, de la diversité, du devenir du logement social, des enjeux du développement durable, tout ce qui concerne le vivre ensemble.
The Rialto Center for the Arts at Georgia State University hosted an innovative performance of Toulouse-based choreographer Pierre Rigal. Introduced by Georgia State's president Marc Becker and Atlanta Ballet's artistic director John McFall, the troupe enthralled the audience with their high-energy elements, including hip-hop and crumping styles, performed in the midst of an intense light show. Leslie Gordon, the Rialto's director, spoke with Global Atlanta about Atlanta's emerging dance scene and the contribution of eye-opening performances such as that of Pierre Rigal's in increasing the appreciation for modern dance.
But it was interesting because it challenges people's stereotypes of, of what French dance is. I think people were surprised. It was a very energetic performance, like you said. The young dancers, and when we were able to speak with them afterwards and have a public forum, I mean, many of them had never danced professionally, and that was so interesting to our audience. Yeah. The fact that these dancers had literally, in 2 cases, it was their first audition ever, and they were picked for the company, and they were so skilled. They were really skilled. You did not get the sense that, oh, these are just street dancers. I mean, you got the sense that these are terrific performers who may have come up through the street dancing aesthetic, but have totally turned this into a terrific career in performance style.
Eye-opening was also the best way to describe the humanitarian segment of France Atlanta. The coordination of humanitarian response during international crisis was the subject of a roundtable discussion at a Georgia Tech gathering of French and American NGO, including HEER, HEER, Handicap International, and ACTED. In addition, about 1,200 Metro Atlanta high school students learned about humanitarian work and the importance of the French language in this field from the Carter Center and Peace Corps representatives. Shondal Sullivan, a representative from the Carter Center, shared with Global Atlanta the impact that such presentation had on high school students from Metro Atlanta.
It was well received. There were several students that commented that their perception of poverty had changed, considering, they live here in Atlanta. In my presentation, I showed a couple of videos from Africa, so they saw, students or children their age that were not at the same income level and were really basically struggling for survival. And they also had a different perception of what they could use the French in a career.
France Atlanta is indeed more than a great show, and poof, it's gone. The show goes on. Toulouse Mayor Pierre Cohen is thinking about a symposium on telemedicine as it applies to cancer, cardiology, and obesity-related illnesses to be held in his city sometime this year. A kidney transplant symposium is being organized in Nantes. The French Trade Commission is preparing a business mission to France as French nuclear experts are to visit Georgia facilities. The artistic residency of Frédéric Drouot are among many in the loop. Stay tuned for France Atlanta 2012 and its follow-ups.